Hey guys, it's Rafflecopter here with another cringe reaction video. Let's see what we got today.
Well, that was a scary
Wait,
situation.
what the fuck is
but
this?
Hi, my name is Rafflecopter.
Hey guys, if you couldn't tell from the intro, my name is Rafflecopter and I'm here with another bird brain kind of build. I've been doing a lot of these lately. The Boomkin just kind of has been fitting with the enchants I've been interested in. So the enchant today is going to be Knight of the Eclipse. Signature Strike is transformed into Eclipse Strike. Eclipse Strike deals astral damage. Eviscerate is transformed into Solar Strike. Solar Strike is a finisher move that deals astral damage and applies solar burn, dealing damage per combo point spent and scaling from Moonfire. While Eclipse Solar is active, for those who don't know, Eclipse Solar is a talented ability in the Druid Tree, and we'll point that out. Eclipse Strike empowers your next Wrath, increasing damage by 200% and critical strike chance by 50%. While Eclipse Lunar is active, Eclipse Strike applies a stack of Knight of the Eclipse, reducing the cast time of your next Starfire by 34%. Now, a few things I want to note. The Eclipse Lunar is definitely the better one of the two. It seems like Starfire just does so much damage, and it doesn't mention in this, but that can actually stack up to a point to where you get a instant cast Starfire. So it just says it applies a stack, but it doesn't tell you if there's a cap on that. So instant cast Starfire is pretty good. So really no complaints about that. I will be very honest, the only issue I'm having with this build currently is besides raw casting a Starfire or a Wrath, there's not really a good way to trigger Eclipse. So Eclipse is going to be the talent you need for most of this build to work, right? It's kind of based, I mean, Eclipse Knight, you can kind of see the similarities. So Eclipse, when you hit your target with Starfire, you have a 100% chance to increase the damage of your Wrath by 30%. When you hit a target with Wrath, you have a 100% chance of increasing your critical strike chance with Starfire by 30%. Each effect lasts 15 seconds. Each has a separate 30-second cooldown. Both effects cannot occur simultaneously. So this Eclipse already has a lot of limiters. You know, you're really not going to get an Eclipse to combo off of a Eclipse to combo off of a Eclipse. It's awful in that sense. So Wrath is one of the few abilities that I'm aware of that spellcasters get that is not able to instant cast in some way. I've been looking at a ton of these talents. I have not been able to find anything that will give me an instant cast Wraith. Because I think, because there's a spell in the Mage Tree that lets you get an instant cast spell, but it's only mage spells from my understanding. Or I think it's even only fire mage spells. So it's just been unfortunate. And then of course, same thing would apply to Starfire. I haven't found anything that gives us the instant cast Starfire, so we really can't benefit from either of those without, again, raw casting it. So that's why you're going to see me do that a few times in this video. Now, of course, another thing with Knight of the Eclipse, the solar strikes do not really help. The Eclipse strikes do not really help. It's nice to have just more kind of synergy with that type of damage, so it's easier to build around. But the Eclipse Strike by itself, without being triggered in that Eclipse form, Eclipse Solar or Eclipse Lunar, we're not able to reduce any cooldowns or gain any additional benefits. So that's the unfortunate thing about the build. But there are some very fortunate things. This build does pretty decent damage. I have nothing to complain about. These spells we've picked up are pretty synergistic with each other. We went pretty much all into nature damage, and it's been going great. Now again, and I mentioned this in a comment of a previous video, I haven't been able to do a lot of dungeon gameplay in these videos because it's so difficult to find a group on the Wrath of the Lich King beta server. It is what it is, unfortunately. So I'm gonna quickly go through the abilities. I am level 80 now on the server, so this is kind of a look at what you can get. Now I want to do a more Death Knight focused build next, so I haven't forgotten. This is the new stuff that come out and I haven't done anything with it, which is kind of dumb, and I apologize. But I promise we're gonna do one soon. I did pick up Summon Gargoyle, which is perfectly mediocre. I mean, I was hoping it'd be pretty good, but it's not the greatest. And that's even with, we have a lot of nature damage modifiers. Keep in mind this particular one is increased by attack power, not spell power. So it's a little lesser than we normally see, but you'd think with the other nature modifiers we have, it'd still do pretty decent damage. I also have Dominate Undead. It's just a great spell. Unholy Presence, nothing new there. Now I'm going to go into more detail in the Druid Tree, because normally we don't get too much in the Druid Tree. I did get Moonfire just to have Moonfire. I mean, really no downside with it, especially with some of our other abilities scaling with Moonfire, as I mentioned previously. So we're going to want to get things to improve Moonfire. It just makes sense, so we can apply another dot. Of course, for the build itself, we need Wrath, we need Starfire, so I picked that up. With all the Druid spells, we have mana. Mana is not the easiest thing in the world to come by, so I got Innervate. I got some other mana spells that I'll point out. In the Druid Tree, we are getting things that are going to give us a better chance of getting a free Wrath proc in the middle of the fight. So first thing is going to be reducing the cost of our Wrath and Starfire. The next thing is going to be Genesis, increasing the damage by our Druid spells by 10%. Now this is also periodic spell damage. This is also healing, though we don't really have any healing. We also got improved Moonfire, increases damage of Moonfire spell by 15% and the critical strike chance of Starfire by 10%. And this will allow our direct arcane damage criticals on a target afflicted by Moonfire to have a chance to instantly trigger an extra tick. So a lot of words all at once. Basically, Moonfire make thing go boom more. Starfire plus Moonfire go boom on enemy. That's a synopsis. Then Vengeance, we're just getting more critical strike damage from our Druid spells. Insect Swarm, just for more dots. This kind of turned into a dot build at some point too. And we got the improved Insect Swarm, so they take increased damage, which is a summary. It actually does a little more than that, but it's a lot of text, and this is already getting close. I normally aim for 10 minutes with these, and I'm already past that. I'm already at like the 7-minute mark of recording this. So Moonfire is going to be great. Just again, flatly increasing damage done, getting more critical strike from Lunar Guidance, and a little more spell damage from Intellect. We're running agility like we normally do with these kind of hybrid builds, but the Intellect, you're still going to have some. Of course, Moonkin form, just more critical strike chance. A lot of our gear being agility, we're going to have some leather in that, so we'll get more bonuses. Also getting some of our mana back with spell crits, which is very nice. We also got the improved Boomkin form to give us more haste. That was pretty much it. I just wanted the haste for faster cast times. Again, if you can figure out a way to get an instant proc on Starfire or Wrath, so you don't have to raw cast it, you won't need this. But right now, in my opinion, you do. I haven't been able to resolve it. We already talked about Eclipse, so I'm going to go to Earth and Moon. Your Wrath and Sun Starfire spells have a 100% chance to apply this effect, which increases magic damage taken by 10%, and it also increases our own damage dealt. So that's good. For AoE, I got Starfall. Starfall is an insane ability in its own right, and then when we're speccing into it with other things, there's really no reason not to get Starfall. It's great. I would go this in a lot of builds if I could reasonably go it, if I'm honest. Like, I would say almost any hybrid build, that is definitely any hybrid build that's going arcane, but almost any hybrid build at all, period. Because, again, it's just a good ability. Now, in these other talent trees, nothing revolutionary. I got combat experience, as we've talked about in many other videos. It gives us a little bit of benefit from agility, a little bit of benefit from intellect, so it's going to be great for a hybrid build. Same with conviction, we're getting a benefit from both. And then in the rogue tree, I actually little unconventional. I went with poisons for some reason. I could have went with the guaranteed damage increase from the shaman tree and their enchants, but I figured with all the nature damage, poison might be fun. I also got Hunger for Blood because, you know, we're having physical damage and nature damage, so that might be fun. I can see the argument that this is probably not good because Starfire is not nature damage, it's actually arcane. But other things we have are nature damage, so getting some benefit from it. And it sounds cool. Hunger for Blood, I don't know. Nothing crazy in the Shaman tree. I mean, again, the craziest thing in here is that I don't have something like Flame Tongue Weapon, but it is what it is. Pretty normal Shaman enchants. I mean, Mental Quickness, Mental Dexterity, Thundering Strikes. Nothing crazy. And then that's about it. The only other thing I'd want to point out is I went with Storm Strike just for extra mana. I went with Maduff again. What was it? Blessing of Wisdom? No, Seal of Wisdom and Judgment of Wisdom. Extra mana. And I don't know if I talked about this last time. Not Unholy Shield. Bone Shield in the Unholy Tree gives you 2% increased damage with all attack spells and abilities while it's up. So that's just free damage. Is it better than some other stuff you can get for 3 ability essence and 1 talent? I don't think so. I mean, when you're at level 80, you would assume most of the talents that are really good you've already gotten. I can't think of a better thing I'd rather spend 1 talent point on that gives me a free 2% damage. So, does it exist? Probably. Is this a build specific thing? Probably. But I'm willing to bet 9 times out of 10 you're gonna want to go Bone Shield just for the 2% extra damage when it's up. And again, it's completely free. It doesn't cost any mana if you have to use it during combat. It does have a minute cooldown, but it lasts for 5 minutes. If you're a tank, it's probably not very good, but if you're anyone other than a tank, this is probably great. And I'm going to continue to use it. So, but other than that, I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope everyone has a great and fantastic day, and yeah, bye.
It's too